Hi, good morning, and thank you for joining me in my shop here. Today is October 17th, and it is cold outside, just at the freezing mark. In fact, there's some ice out on my deck, and my cat was not happy about going outside today. I think she knows what's coming. So, look what we've got on the bench here today. This is a very unusual radio. This is a European radio. I believe it may have been, I don't know where it was made actually, offhand. It's called a Bajazzo, B-A-J-A-Z-Z-O, Bajazzo U. The actual U indicates this model, as I understand it, because Telefunken, the maker of this radio, made a lot of Bajazzos. A Bajazzo. Seems like a pretty odd name to me. So this guy has come to me from an owner who has made no attempt to play it, and it's a hand-me-down, or it's an heirloom type thing, and so her interest is in just in having me clean it up, nothing more than that, and maybe figure out what's going on with the cabinet here, which is cracked open a little bit. It does have a power plug hanging out with a whack of tape on it here. That doesn't look so good. And the lifting handle has ripped off of it, which I would caution anybody from lifting any of these old radios by their leather handles. Could be the last thing you do with the radio. It's got a button here marked U. I think U generally means FM. I'm not sure of that though. And if we look at the dial face, what do we see? So we see a U in green here, and the number's 100 going down to 88. So that, and megahertz. So that's clearly an FM band there. And we also see an AM band, 1600, a little above, all the way down to 510. That's a typical broadcast band here in North America anyway. So I'm trying to assess if this radio was made for North America or not. You have all kinds of cities here. They're not, I don't think it's in English. Like this one here says Vatican, but it doesn't say Vatican, it says Vaticano. Roma. Budapest. Barrowmunster. I've never even heard of that place. Barrowmunster. Stuttgart. And Lille. All European cities. No mention of a North American city in here. So it really does give a strong idea that this radio was built for Europe, not meant to make it over here. Now, on the other hand, I did open this up and look inside. Along with a place to wrap up the cord, is this looks like a FM antenna connection points here. Don't know what that is, if it's anything at all. Could be a rivet. I don't know what that is. And here we see a voltage setter control, and it's got 110, 110, 220, 220, and 125 at the top. It's got an AC and a DC. That's a DC and the AC symbol. An AC 125, and that appears to be the one that it's set to, and we would hope that's the one that it's set to. Also, look at that, there's some jacks back in here, I think. I don't know what those are. Same thing on the other side? No, nothing over here. So, don't know what to make of that. A little hard to see those. There's two holes here. Looks like there's a serial number sticker there. Okay, it kind of looks like the speaker is here. That would be a little odd. Why wouldn't they speaker? No, this has got to be the speaker here. So I don't know what's going on in the back. Yeah, what's going on in the back? Check out the antenna here. I've never seen an antenna quite like this, but this makes a lot of sense. That's like a tape measure. I maybe call it a tape measure antenna. And then you push this button, and it's supposed to retract, but no retracting. So maybe there's a spring that's sprung in there, perhaps. Maybe the antenna itself forms its own spring, somehow pulls itself back. So what is going on with the back here? So this may be broken. Sometimes there's little plastic tabs that you need to get in place. There's some kind of a squarish gap here. What would that be for? Squarish, rectangular gap. That's kind of an odd thing. That would be open right into the radio. Well, not quite. Close. Very odd. Okay, screws. So the screws can be hidden here and there. There's a big screw hidden right there. That's the guy. Does not look like the right kind of screw, but who knows? It's a great big thing. Anybody else? These look a little like hinges. But this also doesn't seem to be closed. Look, there's a, you can see a small piece of metal coming around here, around the ends. So this is supposed to open up and sit, I believe. Looks like I got a corner crack right here. It looks like it could be growing out. And something loose. Yeah, it does sound like there's something inside rattling around a bit. Not sure. Okay, first thing we'll do is we're going to take that big honking screw out of there. That's my initials upside down. Do you think this is the right screw? There, I think it's out. You can hear it popping. Doesn't want to come out of here. Okay, here goes the back. It's going down. It's on hinges. This is probably what I heard flopping around, the battery connection. And it's got its tubes and stuff. I'm not surprised. It's going to be intact. Pretty dusty in there. Fuse here, but you can see the fuse holder has a lot of corrosion on it, a lot of greenish corrosion, so there's some copper corrosion that's taking place here. Here's that side button. Oh! Huh. Huh. So this side says M, and this side says U. So this is the band changing switch. Never seen anything done like that before. That's interesting. Hey, what's this? Oh. What is that? Wow. This is plain and mysterious. There's a spider on it. Just gonna set that over there. What else do we see in here? Is there anything else? More battery connections. Big plus sign on it here, plus sign on it here. So one of these is going to be the heater battery at 1.5 volts or so, and the other one's going to be either a 90 or 45 volt battery. 90 volt, I can see the word 90 there. The other number I see here is 12 volts. 12 volts. Then that would mean they've put these tubes in. You know, these look like common 1 volt North American tubes that you find in battery operated radios. Their size is right, but maybe their filament isn't. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I can see easily. 6, 7 tubes. So if they're 1.5 volts, it takes 7 Well, that gets you close to 12, doesn't it? Gets you close to 12, and they could use a resistor to knock off the last bit of voltage. Some spider's been living in here. And some of his dinner is floating around here too. He didn't finish eating. On the back of the radio here, we have some curious stuff. We have this double line. This is 2 wires here. Put the battery wires out of here for now. Goes across, comes back across, comes up, connects to these 2 pins, which are no doubt antenna pins. It splits and connects here. There's also a brass connector here with a wire going to it, which goes up to this terminal here, and this appears to be attached. This is metal screen. I don't know what this is. This doesn't feel like metal at all. This is cloth. What are they doing here? Why would they do this? There's nothing on the outside. What happened to this lock? Okay, so there's a retaining string here holding this from going all the way down. Well, I don't get this apparatus here. I mean, obviously it's an antenna, but wow, that's as crummy and basic as they get. Here's some more dead spider parts here. Kind of feel like I'm looking in the, what was it called? In Nostradamus? Was that what it was called in the movie Alien? Alien. The last scary movie I ever watched. After that movie I said, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. Yeah. Well, what is this rather odd looking? Oh, this is the antenna deal here. And the button is. It's probably just got no springiness left in it. That's probably the case. But this one wire here comes over to it. Yeah, this connected to this pin, and this, whatever this is I'm pointing to here, connected to the other pin. This is a very strange thing here. There must be something more going on. I don't think this is metal here, is it? Oh, this might be metal, this piece. That's hard to say. Well, would they rivet it like this to non-metal? No, they would do this to a piece of metal. So this must be a piece of metal out here, and it's somehow working with the antenna, like a ground plane for the antenna. I don't know. What was in the minds of those people, or that guy, or it could have been a woman, especially if this was built in Czechoslovakia or countries like that. From my impression is women were treated much more fairly. Everybody was treated equally bad. Maybe that's the best way to put it. But women found themselves in technical jobs, engineering jobs, and stuff like that, much more than here in North America. I believe. That's the impression I got. And that's from people moving into Canada. I'm meeting them and talking with them. So what is with this? So this is some kind of switch arrangement here. Oh, you know what you probably do? I think I know what this is. So you're not using the power plug. Well, this is a North American power plug, but if it was in Europe, these might be totally round tubular pins. You're not using the plug, you plug it in here. The reason you do that is it throws switches to set the radio to work from batteries. You pull it out and it's ready to work from your 220 volt European plug. So that's what's going on there. So with it not plugged in, this thing is set to work from the power plug, and we can guess from that piece on the front here, this piece here. We'll have to assume that straight up is the right way. I mean, that makes good sense. Well, I don't know. Should we turn this thing on? Why not? This feels like a piece of cardboard with aluminum on it. Another weird thing. Why would they do that? It's got these rivets here. Oh, it's a bottom cover. Cardboard? Aluminized cardboard as a shield. That must be what's going on there. So to draw this out of the radio, it looks like there's a screw there, screw over here. There's probably a couple more here and there, but at least two anyway. The speaker is practically integral with the chassis, the way they've done it there. It's very unusual looking. That's one thing about looking at these radios from another system, if you like, another industrial system. They can look quite different. Yeah, all the parts look a little different, but you can still recognize what they are for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to take a little break here, drink some coffee, and think about plugging this guy in. Why wouldn't we plug him in? Okay, I think we can start this guy up now. Just in case you're wondering what the box is, this I'm pretty sure is a wrapped up piece of foam. It's probably just to take up some space where the battery didn't quite fit right or something of that sort. I don't think, no, it's not a bar gold. No, once again, no bar gold again. Okay, well, I'm going to power up the radio. For those of you who have watched lots of my videos, you know how I do this. Nothing complicated about it. I like to use a dim bulb system. This is a small, well, it's got 7 tubes in it. This probably doesn't draw a lot of current. So using the dim bulbs alone may not drop the voltage to the radio all that much. So I have a second device here, this guy here, and I can turn down the main supply a bit also. So a combination of this, dim bulbs, I can also remove one dim bulb. So all the power is going to go through this light on the way here, and that should drop the voltage plenty. If there's something seriously wrong with the radio, the light will still come on nice and bright and won't change. I'm not sure how this is going to work with this particular radio, but normally what will happen is there's a bit of a heavy flow of current initially for the first 5 seconds or so, or just a few seconds, maybe just a second, while the heaters are cold. And the heaters are cold, resistance is low, more current flows. They heat up very quickly, the resistance goes up, current goes down, and the light goes down. And once the tubes are heated, they begin to operate and draw current on their own. So once the tubes get hot, the next thing you see is the light comes up in brightness to some fixed point. This usually takes 10-15 seconds. In a radio like this, it might happen really quick because of the type of tubes that are in here. And just to be more specific, the type of tubes that are in here are the type you find in battery operated radios. So they're designed to draw very little current. They generally do not have cathodes to heat up. They work straight off the heater, and because of that, they are sort of almost instant on. Controls here, I haven't even touched these, so that's the on off. Sounds good, and this will be tuning, and it's moving. Oh, what was that? How did I manage to discover that? Does it pop out too? No. So what is the popping out? If this is the band change down here, we should want it to start on the M band, so we're going to push that in. We don't have any particular antenna on it, but that's probably good enough for a start. Let me tune this to where a station would be. That would be around down here. So these dials run backwards like so many, because originally they used wavelength and the numbers would go up this way, even though we use frequency, and in this case now the numbers are going the wrong way to me anyway. So we want to put it at 690. So this radio, I'm sure, was made for North American use, and the reason I'm not sure of anything. The reason I'm saying that is it has the two civil defense markers. There's one there, there's one over here. And those were American. It was an American system where the public in the United States could tune to those frequencies, and then hear special broadcasts. You know, stick your head between your legs because there's nothing left to live for. That kind of message would come. Or help me, I'm on fire already. The bomb's already struck here at the transmitter. You know. Okay, not to make jokes about that. So, don't know what the pull is. Maybe it's a tone thing. Funny, it's right on the tuning. Could be near and far. Could be a way to weaken the antenna a little bit. Not very likely. Okay, we put the switches off. So the first thing we're going to do is power up the radio and make sure off is off. This guy here is going to show us the voltage right at the plug. Some other meters back here are going to show us different things. This one shows the line voltage in my house, although it's not accurate. It gives an idea there's some voltage there. This one will show the voltage same as this. A little bit, it's not right here though, it's a little further back. This is not accurate, but you'll see when this is in the range of normal range of voltages for operating, this meter will be up too. But it's just some fun stuff I have. You might wonder what the heck is that stuff there for. Okay, I think we can do this. So we're plugged in. So you can see my hand come over to this switch. When I push the switch down, it'll send the power through this light bulb over here. If I flip the switch up, then the lights are cut out of the circuit and it's straight into the Pickering Nuclear Power Plant in Pickering. That'll be powering the radio. It's an awfully big nuclear plant to power a little radio like this, but okay. Testing the off switch. So nothing happened at the light. Maximum voltage available is 97 volts, just under 100 volts. So the light is going to reduce it further. This thing's going to get 90 volts or so, something like that. At 90 volts, most radios start to operate, but maybe not. Oh. Someone is calling me. Who is calling? Yes, what do you want? What are you down here for? How come you're not outside? So she stopped outside my room here, which means she wants me to come out. And why? You want me to take you down to the garage? Hey, pay some attention. You want me to take you down to the garage? Oh, what a cat. Okay, I'm going to take her to the garage. You get to watch. Come on. Come on. Oh, well. Okay. Doesn't want to go to the garage. She wants to go outside. I have to stop and take her upstairs. She's at the bottom of the stairs there. Her tail is pointing up the stairs. Gotta go. Yeah, you never know with cats. So she didn't want to go in the garage. She didn't want to go outside because it's pretty cold outside. So I gave her a little treat, and then she stuck her head in her food bowl, and I left her with her crunching away there. Okay, so we're ready to start this up now. So I can either turn the switch to turn it on or de-energize and use this switch, which is what I'm going to do. So, what can happen now? Can something bad happen? There's no transformer in this radio, so there's no transformer at risk. Worst thing that could happen here is something burn up really quick. It's not very likely. It's probably better that we be looking at the business side of the radio while we do this, in case we see a wisp of smoke or something else that draws our attention. I have to turn it on now for something to happen. I'm always hesitant at these points, and I think it's smart to be hesitant. What was this wire doing anyway? Oh, this must be the lead into the radio for the antenna. That's what that is. Funny that they've used this is like a miniature line cord speaker wire. It's like they've used speaker wire. Okay, no reason to hesitate any longer. So checking again, switch is on. I'm going to put the volume up about a third. The most likely thing that'll happen is the radio will come on and hum like a son of a gun. Let's see what happens. Here we go. So it looks like absolutely nothing is happening in here, and I'm willing to bet it's this fuse situation here is causing the problem. Without touching it any further, I'm going to look for a voltage drop across the fuse terminals. I see a voltage drop across the fuse. The fuse has to be open, either burned out or the corrosion in here has broken its contact. I'm trying not to disturb the fuse. I don't want to cause the fuse to suddenly connect. 34 volts. What's that? What's that all about? Okay, power off. Fuse out. Power's off. Just be doubly sure. I think I can see the element in there, but it's badly corroded. Put this on resistance. You can see the fuse is good, but the contact, wow. Probably just get another fuse. I don't think I can clean this up enough to know it's making contact. What's the contacts in here? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. What do you do about this? What do we do about that? We need some kind of a like a wire brush. A little tiny. I got this big one here. My mother said all the time, brush your contacts every night. I was thoroughly pleased by my mother. I think there's little bits and pieces of this metal coming off and falling into that radio. Yikes. That's not a good thing. We don't want that happening. Same deal with the barbecue. You know, using the wire brush for barbecues. We don't do that anymore. Okay, see anything. Didn't see anything fall out, but I think some stuff did. There's something right there. That's not metal though. Okay, we'll pop the fuse back in. As much as I... What does that cat want? What? Oh, listen to her. I think she's dying. Okay, cat. Oh no, here's another issue. I didn't really investigate this. We're gonna assume this is okay. Wow, that's another good reason we're having the dim bulbs. If this were shorted right out, the dim bulbs would save the day. Are we ready? Okay, we're applying power. Saw no action on the light. No action in the tubes. So if these tubes are in series, if the heaters are in series, then any one of them will break the circuit and cause them all to be off like they are now. Could be bad tube contact. Could be a lot of things. Be a miracle if that fixed the radio somehow. Well, we haven't even got off the ground here. I could put a short on this. Oh my gosh, there's more fuses. Oh, no, I was going to say, oh my gosh, there's more fuses. No. Occasionally these radios have a fuse in the high voltage circuit, separate from the power fuse, and they look pretty much the same. I have no reason to know for sure that this isn't a fuse in the high voltage circuit, but it's probably in the power. Trying to decide what to do next. That is the issue in life. The primary issue in life for not just people, but for every animal on this planet is, what do I do now? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go have some coffee. That's what I'm going to do now. Here's the schematic for the radio on my bench. Bajazzo U. 1953. Right inside the radio, right after saying on a piece of paper inside the radio, it says Bajazzo U, and then in brackets, 1953. I think we know what year this was made. So first off, these tube designations I am not familiar with. DK92, DF91. It's quite likely there are exact replacements for these in European, more common European tubes and in North American tubes. But offhand, I don't know that to be the case. So right now, if one of these tubes is defective, that's kind of it for this radio. Here's the power coming in. There's the fuse, 0.2 amps fuse. What other interesting things can we take note of right away? I don't know. There's a switch here called K. Is that the one I was pulling on the... It looks like a tone control. It's on the plate of the output tube going to the output transformer, so I think that's a tone control. That's probably what I was pulling on the tuning knob. There's another switch here. What is this doing here? We're coming in with 120 volts AC, going through this rectifier. Actually, here's the switch for the different voltages. What is this? This thing here. Not sure what this is. There's some big filter capacitors here. Another diode. I don't know what this is doing. Voltage regulator of some sort? I don't know what's going on with this. Diode. And on we go. Let's see, heaters in series. Notice the inductor, capacitor, another inductor. Look at this. Through the heater and down, up, through the heater and down. Yeah, these are in series. And look at all the capacitors they've got in here. Excuse me, there is no cathode in these tubes. They're all directly heated. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What am I going to do next? That's the question here. Stop and think about the situation. Now that I've seen the schematic, try to determine how far the power is getting into this radio. I don't know. Look at the power supply side of things. What's this down here? HB and AB. Oh, those are the batteries. That's the battery supply. Yeah, we're going to have to pay attention to that. Another switch here. This looks like the switch. Battery Nets Umschalter. I think this is where you plug in the European plug, as I was showing you. You'll activate these switches. I think that's what they're showing there. Look at this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then you find these letters cast throughout the schematic. Yikes. So it's in German. And a few of the symbols might be misleading, but not like this one here. I don't know what are they doing here. I don't know what they're doing here. Everything else should be easy to understand. There's diodes up here. Well, there's a diode right there. So this will be the FM detector here. Not sure what they're depicting right there. This might be very small on your screen to see. Okay, that's another switch here. This is probably a volume control here. Yeah, I'm really not hopeful. I'm really reticent to work on something like this. It's just way out of my comfort zone. Other than to poke around a little bit and make sure something silly isn't wrong with it. Chance of this working as it stands, all original, assuming it's all original, rather low. Filtering in the power supply is probably bad. This is probably bad. Okay, time to stop. Well, I think it might be easy leaving this on the radio for now, taking this bottom part off, and then just looking up under there to see what's there, because I think it's just a couple screws holding this on. I think. Some more paper back here. Huh. You like that, eh? Huh. 1953. A little secret message hidden inside there. Just gotta pop it off. There we go. Oh. That's what was holding it. Aluminum on here. Now we can take a look at what's up in here. I'm going to use a different camera to take a look with. We'll see if we can see anything under here. Maybe a little more light, I imagine. So I'm looking for our crummy capacitors. It looks like there might be some in there. How come you're not? There we go. Crummy as in the type. Tubular capacitors, especially wax capacitors. I don't see any of those. You know, these are actually fairly reliable components that are in here. Doesn't mean they're any good, but they're not the looks like they've put all the resistors in with the value showing facing up, which is a good practice. Some weird things in here. What's that taped up thing there? With hockey tape on it, as we would call it here in Canada. That's probably the output transformer there. Well, you know, it's full of parts that are more reliable than many others. Come on, camera, you can do it. Show me a focus. It's not quite bright enough under there to trigger the focus. Come on. Okay, so I am going to manually focus this camera for... Wow. How much do I bet it focuses while I'm doing this? There, you see? Now, but I'm going to turn off the automatic focus in any case here. Okay, automatic focus is off. Yeah, it's got reliable parts in it. Means it's worth taking another shot at making it operate. There's the switch running right through the center of the radio. Is this long switch? I'm going to operate it here. Ugh, that's not very reassuring. This switch could be in big trouble. Big trouble, I tell you. Aside from just turning it on again and looking at it, what am I going to do here? Let's take a look at the power supply area. So there's the fuse. It looks like it should make contact, but these switches, you know, which should be in the power position, they could be in trouble. This thing's not likely to be causing a problem. And what all's in behind there? Ooh. Some weird looking thing there. I think that's a coil that I'm looking at, kind of center of the picture there. You can see a white, you see a metal bracket holding something that looks like a porcelain piece. What looks like a wire wrapped around it, and another holder down below. That's pretty weird looking stuff. There's another one down here. Huh. There's one in the back, in the background. You can see another one. Doesn't come through the bottom here. That's a spring in the fuse, spring-loaded fuse. Usually means it's a doesn't usually mean anything, but some slow blow fuses have springs built into them. Well, the capacitors just appear poking out here. Excuse me. Well, I don't know. Nothing's leaping out at me. There's nothing saying, hey. Hey. Is something supposed to say hey to me? These are, I believe, antenna coils. This is some kind of capacitor here. Of course, you have the tuning capacitor right up in there. So wouldn't be surprised. Look at this thing. What is all that about? This is probably an IF coil. But no, maybe this. No, that's probably the filter capacitor. What's this? This is a 1650. This must be the main capacitor here. These are coils. Probably the IF coils. So everything's painted up pretty thoroughly. Keep you from monkeying with it. This little piece sticking out here. So that's like a rubber string. And what they do is they shove it down between the threaded part, which you're going to turn. It's going to move up and down inside the form here. They just shove that in there among the threads, and it just tightens it up. I believe that's all that is. And you can probably find something similar over here. Yeah, sticking out of there. It's just to tighten this up. Now wait a minute. This looks more like an IF. All painted up, locked down. And you can literally pop that top right off. AP1070W, like 70 watts? No, it can't be. That's an IF maybe? I don't know. Could be some kind of coil. I don't know. What is all that? That is... What is all that? That's a lot of stuff there. Don't even know what it is. All kinds of terminals. Oh, well, this would be the on-off switch, wouldn't it? The on-off switch is up high here. And moving it. I don't see it. Dark in here. It's a little dark in here. Well, the volume control is up behind, up in this area here. You can see my hand on it. It's just in behind here. I can't really see it. I don't think this big thing. Maybe it is. Maybe it's attached by string or something. Or is this the tuning? This is the tuning knob I'm turning. It's not the volume control. Oh no, this is the tuning. The other one. No doubt about that. There's the antenna. Very carefully designed and built antenna. You radio engineers know in the end it's all about the antenna. The antenna's no good. Doesn't matter how good the radio is. Well, I don't know what even these parts are. I don't know where to even start. Back with the fuse again. Let's go back and check the fuse some more. It's kind of like my only hope is the fuse is the problem. If it's beyond that, my only job here is to clean this guy up so it looks nice on a shelf and get the cabinet back together properly and all that kind of stuff. The making it work is very much a secondary thing. So here we go. Is there continuity through the fuse? Yes, there is. So if I turn this set on, again, we will do this. We know the fuse is not part of the problem. So we'll try it one more time. Did I wiggle all these tubes to make sure they're making contact? Because they are in series now. So we could have one defective tube, shut them all down. Or one tube with heater contacts not working out. And think this gap here, like the cabinet was gapped right, I think that gap has been there for a long time because dust has come down on anything that's right near where the gap was. Hey, stick your fingers in there, is that okay? Yeah. This is an FM receiver. FM receivers are much higher frequency than an AM radio, and everything becomes much more I don't want to say precise, much more critical in the operation of the radio. So everything from how the wires are being run, everything becomes much more critical. Making an FM radio at this age operate again is tricky business, I would say. Especially, you know, this is a foreign radio. I'm not inclined to even attempt it. But let's turn it on again and see what happens. Okay, so once again, so we've got this medium wave button pushed. We're still tuned around near a station, as if that's going to matter. Okay, power's off. Plug them in. Okay, volume up a little bit. Better look at the business side of things. In case smoke should come forth. Okay. Here we go. So again, these tubes should probably have warmed up almost immediately. No. There's nothing happening in here. We have 90 volts on it, and there is nothing happening. Changing bands won't affect this. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to repair this. I don't want to make any attempt at it. This is out of my bailiwick for sure. The name of the game here is make this thing look nice. Fact is, it's not likely to play this radio anyway. Not in light of the fact that everybody has much nicer stuff in their homes these days. This would only be played as a demo, I would think. And playing it as a demo is not much beyond just looking at it. Prinzip Schaltbild. That's got to mean schematic, I think. Very cool. Very cool looking at it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to concentrate on just cleaning it up, making it look nice and pretty on the shelf. And that'll be it for this radio. And unfortunately, I don't know how to look at a situation like this. But I'm not going to do anything to it. So the next guy somewhere in the future who feels he's up to it or she's up to it, go for it. It's exactly as it was. Okay, let's clean it up. Okay, so I've kind of done a quick preliminary sort of cleanup, and now I want to close this cabinet. Now, when I got this radio, the cabinet was cracked open slightly, and the top was open enough that, as we saw, dust and dirt was going into the radio. It's not closed properly. So the closing thing, yeah, there is a hinge here, and this swings up, and there's a screw here that's accessible in the door. Get to it here. And the screw just goes in this clip hole. Well, that's where things go downhill right away. I did manage to get the screw in the clip, and when it's all closed up, that's what it looked like. It was still gapping open. Curiously, too, there are two purposeful holes here. I don't know what these are for. Vent holes or something? So even if you have it closed up tight, it's still got these gaps. Don't know what that's about. So I've looked at this closely, and what I think has happened is this clip has been bent downwards for some reason. Perhaps by being rammed in, it's bent downwards up here. So you can see it's a little loose too, right? This is riveted to this cabinet, which makes this whole thing very precarious. So this thing is then bent down and pulled forward. That's what's happened to it. It needs to be bent back up and pushed back. It's having trouble lining up with the screw here the way it is because it's down. So the reason I turned the camera on is because the problem here, how do you bend this back up on a rivet without breaking this cabinet? That's the question. Or is there an alternative to closing this up? I don't think there is. If there was, I'd be looking at that. But I can't think of any alternative other than just fix the situation here. So I'm going to try to squeeze this up without damaging the top. Right. Okay, so we need a pretty strong tool. Usually makes me think of vice grips like this. And of course this is going to bite in and scratch the daylights out of this, so I need to protect this with something effective. This is probably going to be effective here. What I want to do is go in and squeeze this back up. And you know, when you bend metal, right, you know the problem with bending a piece of metal. Let's say the metal's like this and you want it like that. You'll want it like that. So what you got to do is you got to bend it further and then it's going to relax back. But what if there's something in the way and you can't bend it any further? Well, then you can't get it bent all the way up, and that's what's going to happen here, I'm pretty sure. We'll see how far up I can get it. And I'm going to try to get the force to go through the rivet here, so I'm not forcing on the plastic so much. Let's go this way. The size right. Put my head in front of the camera. Okay, let's squeeze it up. Well, it's coming up. That's probably as good as I'm going to get it there. Okay, that went up. Now, this piece is bent forward. I need to bend this back a bit. Let's verify that before I end up making a mess of things here. Verifying that by tightening the screw up and seeing where we got to. So the screw will not grip because the piece is bent back like this. I need to bend it forward. Oh, you know what? This is still hanging way down. Bend this back a bit here. Oh, it's easy to bend. That was easy. Now, but it's not so easy bending it up. Let me try it again. You just, you know, it's one of these games, you know, half a millimeter makes all the difference. I bet you I just can't put a bend into this metal anymore. Like a permanent bend. That's it. That's why I'm in that problem. You can't bend past you can't bend it past the end point. It's getting looser all the time too, no doubt. The rivet is solid, so it must be getting loose on the rivet. Well, let's see how far we got here. Can I even get the screw to match up? Oh, it's way off. It's way off. This is way low. Possibly get it up there. Here's the challenge with this radio. Let's see if I can get a better look at how close that's getting here. Looks pretty close. Maybe I can work it in there. Sometimes the screw has a bit of play, and you know, if you put a nice big screwdriver in it, you can direct the tip of the screw a bit. There's that biggie. So I'm going to want to direct it downwards. Oh much. Any chance that you're going in? Doesn't feel like it. No. No, no, no. How much play is there in this? It's got a clip here, clipping it. So it won't lose it. What if I undo the clamp? They're going to give me more tipping range. Then it's going to tip down on too much of an angle. It's going to cross thread. Is there some way I can flex this up? Oh my gosh, no. I have to have my hand inside there. Looks really close. Don't know if I can give you a view of this or not. I mean, it's so... it's a whopper of a screw. I'm trying to look right in just as it... just not enough play in the screw. So then if I bend this out to swing this up higher, to compensate for the drop in it, then this won't close. It'll be like it was. It will be like it was. Did that just catch? No, I'm fooling myself. Okay, coffee time. Yeah, coffee time. I gotta come up with a scheme here. Okay, knocked off track by a power outage. We had a power outage here for about 15 minutes, and boy, is that ever paralyzing. When the power goes out, I walk around like in a daze. What am I gonna do? Turn on a battery operated radio. That's about it. So okay, so here's my plan. Take the biggest screwdriver I've got, stick it in the screw here, and try to manipulate the angle of the screw on the far side. Try to manipulate the angle down into this hole, because right now the screw is coming in high. Try to manipulate it into the hole, and then lever this up. Lever this up. Oh wow, that's not going to lever up at all. Yeah, I don't get much hope out. I think there's a good reason why this radio wasn't screwed up tight. Let's give it a go though. I don't think it's not going to get there. It's just not going to get there. Small amount of brute force here. See if that does it. No, it's not going to do anything. This is a real problem. It's a simple situation, but correcting it, really, it's not so simple. You know. So this has to come up without coming forward. You can see what's happening here is instead of bending the metal when I squeeze it with the vice grips, instead of that I'm working the rivet connection loose. Is really what's happening. So it's just getting looser and looser. Is that helpful? Not with the bend in the metal here. The metal bend has to be removed. I have no idea how you would do that. some other way of closing this up tight? Is there some other way? Like with a cord or a string or something that I can wrap around behind here, have it come out, have it come around this thing here somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. And then from outside the radio, pull it tight. Looks like a crack, but it's not. Well, yeah, some other way of closing this up. At the moment, I can't even get the screw to go in the hole right now. Some way of temporarily pushing this up. What if I put a like a wooden stick in here to push this up? It doesn't really push up, Jim. You need a whopper. You need a whopper of a stick. I had a whopper. Where'd the whopper go? My whopper stick. I just had it. I was just using it. Here it is. Something like this stuck in there. Oh, it's just about exactly the right size. Just as an experiment. Does this even make any sense? It would jam something in here. And the radio doesn't operate, so what does it really matter? The other way around. Put it in the other way around. It's not enough. Close, but can it really work? Could you really flex this up? Just the right length of material. You go right down in here, right up in there. Shove it in there. Flex this up. Shove the screw in. Wow. Well, I tried a few things, no success whatsoever. I'm going to remove the retaining clip here in the hopes that I can tip the screw further. The retaining clip seems to be limiting the angle I can get the screw on. Get the screw down into this hole, jack it up somehow. Let it have it. Let's see if I can get this off. Oh boy. Well, there's another problem. Hey, can anybody explain this to me? Okay, a little bit of politics here. Uh-oh, not Canadian politics, American politics. One of the American presidential candidates is talking about levying tariffs all over the place. But in the American system, the president has no role in levying tariffs. That's up to the American Congress to do that. So why, my question is, why aren't Americans pointing this out and saying, hey, Mr. Candidate, these things you're talking about doing, it's none of your business. This is not what you do. You don't do this kind of thing. What's the matter? I don't understand it. Americans don't know their own system. I don't get it. Okay, go in. Come on, baby. Something's gone somewhere. The cabinet is locked. No, the screw did not make it in. I need an alternative way of holding this together. Really, is what's needed here. And yeah, like that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe if I do it with my fingers, I can have better luck. So I'm trying to angle the screw downwards into the hole, but no luck. We're going to end up having this thing screwed closed and still gapped out. That's where this is going to end up. I'm not going to be able to make this any better than it was. One of the things I tell people, if I'm going to work on their stuff, if I can't create a significant improvement in the operation of the thing, like fix it or make it work better. Hey, the screw went in. The screw went in. Then they get the radio back, and there's... I must be cross-threading it. Well, let's blast it in. We're going to blast it in. Cross-threading or not. Now I've taken the clip off. Too bad. Too bad. I'm not putting it back on. This is gonna work. Oh, it's not perfect. It's much better. Still a little more to go. So I'm imagining I'm bending that bracket outwards as I do this. Yeah, it's closing right up. Not too tight. Not too tight. Hey, I got it. Hey, you got it. He got it. Huh. It's funny how you can go from it'll never work to, hey, I did it. So that's basically it for this radio, other than a little more cleanup. I gotta do a little more cleanup on it. But I did want to get the cabinet on at this point, so that's good. Okay, and then what do you do with this? Stick it around, stick it in like that. There's a little spring-loaded clip here, which is to clip something. Oh, it's to clip this. That's what it's to clip. Okay, I got a wire under it here. Bet you I can't get it out. There we go. Ta-da! Hey, how about that? Okay, yeah, I've actually cleaned this and it doesn't look much better. So it's going to take a little bit of effort. I don't know, these are locked on with screws. This one's got the push button thing. Is this the on-off switch? No, this is the on-off switch. Yeah. A moment there. Okay. It is a Bakelite radio, and I'm not the best at cleaning Bakelite. I take a very gentle view of it. I just use water and maybe a little bit of furniture polish at the end. This guy's not shiny like it could be, but I'm not about to be more aggressive with it. There's all kinds of stuff on the internet about how to bring up the polish. A lot of it involves not so much cleaning it, but putting a polishing product onto it afterwards. So there we go, though. At least I've got it in one piece. I've got it closed, and it's quite presentable. And the interesting thing about this radio, of course, is reading all these cities up in here, reading all the different little speck of paint there. Yeah, reading all those nifty cities. So that's it for the Telefunken Bajazzo. Actually, I worked with a guy whose name was Bajazzo, but this is Bajazzo. Bajazzo might be how you pronounce this. That's a J there, eh? Yeah, Bajazzo. Bajazzo. It's Bajazzo with two Z's here. That's what it is. Hey, finally figured that out. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching. Next radio is kind of similar to this, but a North American one. And we're going to go through that one tomorrow. So thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy your day. See ya.